Thank you very much. I would like, first of all, to really congratulate Dr. Singh. I think his message is really one of the most inspiring I have heard in these recent times. And I think he is really challenging all of us to really revisit some of the issues. And I do believe, definitely, having been inspired during my career by many Indian lawyers, to not name them, my good friend, former Chief Justice P.N. Bakwati, when at a time, I remember about 20 years ago, I have been trying to bring the issue of social action litigation in some parts of Africa. And as he said towards his conclusion, we cannot but speak about social justice. And I do really like very much the reference he made to what he called social peace. And I think this is extremely important. Thank you very much once again for your remarks. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters in humanity, Shanti, Salam, Shalom, peace, Aman, may peace be upon all of us. I would like to start by thanking the Malavia Center for Peace and Research of the Varanasi Hindu University and the UNESCO Chair for Peace and Intercultural Understanding for convening this event during the Work of Hope and for providing leadership on a very timely and important topic, the role of religious leaders in supporting world peace and harmony in preventing atrocity crimes. I would also like to thank the organizers bringing us to this marvelous city, a city that is charged with symbolic meaning. Benares, also known as the microcosm of India, is not only one of the holiest Hindu sites, but has significance for many other religions too. I was struck to read that in addition to its 3,300 Hindu religious sites, Benares has 12 churches, 3 Jain mandir, 9 Buddhist shrines, 3 Sikh shrines, and 1,388 Muslim holy sites, and that, despite differences between them, different religious groups have been able to peacefully coexist for centuries in this city, respecting each other's values and rights. It was my privilege to join the Work of Hope yesterday in the premises of the Benares Hindu University, and I am much honored today to take part in the International Summit for Peace and Harmony, a timely and meaningful theme in the beautiful and centenary Benares Hindu University and in one of the most spiritual cities in India and oldest living cities in the world, Varanasi. Dear friends, brothers and sisters in humanity, I'm indeed very proud to be in Benares and to be part of the Work of Hope. When I first learned about the Work of Hope some months ago, I had no hesitation about participating in it. That you have been able to organize a march of 7,500 kilometers across the Indian continent, lasting several months and visiting many places of worship associated with different religions and beliefs, at which people from different faiths can pray and dialogue together for the permanent cessation of suspicion, hatred, and violence signifies that even what appear to be insurmountable challenges can be overcome if we accept and respect each other. This work should inspire all those who witness it to be compassionate and understanding, whatever their beliefs and opinions. It is a much needed undertaking in these difficult times. Brothers and sisters, unprecedented advances in information and communication technology mean that we cannot afford to ignore what we see and read every day. The horrors of diverse forms of violence, the suffering and indignity caused by poverty and by human rights violations, and the shortcomings of the world in attending to the needs and the hopes of the millions of people who are struggling to survive or displaced as a result of conflict. It is tragic that in the 21st century, we are witnessing so many violent conflicts, and that religion is being used to justify savage cruelty and atrocities. In fact, religion is often used, I would say, manipulated by parties with vested interests who stand to gain by fueling divisions between people of different faiths and who sometimes even encourage, incite, and commit atrocity crimes. The spirit of intolerance that feeds on people's fears and can eclipse human reasons fuels religious strife. Not one country in the world, not a single region is immune from this kind of conflict. It is a sad state of affairs when the very same values which inform our greatest institutions and instruct our noblest human aspiration are used to justify the infliction of suffering, pain, and horror. Here in India, we have witnessed the exploitation of religion, caste, creed, and language to fuel intercommunal tensions, resulting in violence that has led to enormous loss of life. These periods of violence and the failure to hold accountable those responsible have contributed to a continuation of discord and suspicion among various communities. Many families have lost their breadwinners, their children, their parents, and other loved ones to this violence. It is difficult to heal the wounds caused by the trauma of such irreparable loss. Now, in addition to the intercommunal violence that the country has witnessed, India's much celebrated plurality faces a new threat, like all countries today around the world. A threat with violent extremist groups such as ISIS on its doorstep. The best way to manage this threat is to build the kind of societal cohesion that will prevent violent extremists from gaining a foothold. Distinguished guests, all human beings, whatever their beliefs or opinions, whether Muslims, Hindus, Christians, Jews, Buddhists, paganists, or atheists, are born free and equal in dignity and rights. This is a fundamental tenet of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. States have an obligation under international human rights law to work to fulfill the rights of their populations, whether economic, civil, cultural, political, or social rights. Where human rights are protected and the rule of law respected, where people do not face discrimination or exclusion on the basis of their identity, including their religious identity, they are more likely to coexist peacefully, and this peaceful coexistence lays the ground for social and economic development and prosperity. A state that demonstrates that they value diversity and that promote the benefits of having a pluralistic society are more likely to be stable and strong. This principle of respect for diversity, respect for the differences between peoples, including their beliefs, is fundamental to the development of a stable and peaceful society. Societies that can weather periods of tension and stress. Such societies are more resilient to conflict and atrocity crimes. Let me emphasize that ensuring respect for the rights of all peoples without discrimination or distinction implies the active protection of those who are most at risk and whose voices may not be heard. In many societies, these include minority religious communities. A starting point for such a protection is to enshrine human rights protection in domestic law, including the right to freedom of religion and belief, and the right to practice one's religion of choice. In this regard, India sets a good example for the entire world. But while the state must lead the way, each of us has a responsibility. We have to accept that while we belong to different ethnic, racial, or social groups and practice different religions, and while we may have strongly differing opinions, we need to think and behave with respect towards each other. We need to reach out to those who are different from us and learn about their beliefs, their culture, and live in peace with them. Today, more than ever, our world is in dire need for a large-scale transformation that starts within each and every mind and heart in order to clear them from feelings of hatred, greediness, envy, and the pitiless run after power and wealth so as to create space for more love and compassion, a prerequisite for peace and harmony that transcends the ethnic, religious, and social differences. As the great Mahatma Gandhi said, and I quote, "The day the power of love overrules the love of power, the world will know peace." End of quote. I strongly believe that we, as individuals and collectively, can help to build a culture of non-violence through a clear understanding of our common humanity and our shared goals. In the end, we all want to have a decent life, a family, and a shared community. Let's not forget that we are one world. We are one humanity. We can work towards our goals alone, but united, we are stronger. For this reason, I believe that such meaningful and laudable undertakings as the work of hope are very important as they set an example by sending the message that religious leaders are able to work together to prevent the clashes of ignorances that create tension and can ultimately lead to larger scale violence and crimes. Brothers and sisters, my office has done extensive research into the factors that increase the risk of violence, and we know that in societies that are fragile as a result of political or other form of instability, one of the key triggers to violence that could lead to atrocity crimes is what we call hate speech. The kind of messages in public discourse or in the media that encourage or incite people to commit violence against specific communities. This kind of discourse is a frequent precursor to violence that target communities based on their religious or ethnic identity. At the United Nations, we have repeatedly spoken out against such incitement, which is prohibited under international law. Any advocacy of national, racial, or religious hatred that constitute incitement to discrimination, hostility, or violence is prohibited. But we are seeing this kind of dangerous incitement speech in countries as diverse as Burundi, the Central African Republic, Myanmar, and Iraq. Unfortunately, the speakers are sometimes religious leaders. At the same time, we also have many examples of courageous religious leaders who have spoken out against intolerance, countering and rejecting identity-based hate speech and incitement, including here in India, as well as in the Central African Republic, Nigeria, Ukraine, and the United States of America. We must do more to support those who do speak out. We must engage more religious leaders so that their voices are heard. We must also do more to engage with non-mainstream religious leaders, especially in situations where societies are divided along identity lines and where tensions are high. Brothers and sisters, my conviction about the importance of the influence of religious leaders in preventing incitement to violence that could lead to atrocity crimes has led me to engage more directly with these eminent personalities. I started first with a visit I paid to Pope Francis I at the Vatican in June 2013, where I received the blessing of a project I will speak to you now. In April this year, my office convened a forum of religious leaders in Fez, Morocco, in collaboration with the King Abdullah Center for Interreligious and Intercultural Dialogue and the Moroccan Government Delegation for Human Rights and the Rabita of Ulemas. The outcome of this forum, which brought together religious leaders from around the world, was a declaration of principles for religious leaders to follow and a plan of action which sets out options for actions that religious leaders can take in situations where there is a risk of violence that could lead to atrocity crimes. As follow-up to the first forum, my office is organizing 5 regional meetings during which religious leaders are discussing the first declaration and also developing plan of action to correspond to the priorities and opportunities presented in each region. The first 2 regional meetings took place in Treviso, Italy, with religious leaders from Europe, and in Amman, Jordan, in September and November with religious leaders from Middle East and North Africa. The meetings resulted in recommendations that focused specifically on the challenges presented in these regions. The meetings with religious leaders from the Americas, Africa, and the Asia Pacific will take place in 2016. At the end of 2016, after all 5 regional meetings, we plan to hold one final meeting to bring the results of all these meetings together. We will then launch the phase declaration and plan of action. Given the rich diversity of religions practiced in India, it would be wonderful if the meeting with religious leaders from the Asia-Pacific region could take place in this country, and perhaps even here in Benares. Even here in Benares, a place that represents the Indian model of promoting freedom of religion and interfaith collaboration to strengthen social cohesion and resilience to violence. Brothers and sisters, in October, I had the privilege to deliver a message from United Nations Secretary General Ban Ki-moon at the opening of the 2015 Parliament of World's Religions in Salt Lake City in the United States. In his message, the Secretary General recognized the important role of religious leaders in fighting greed and violence and bringing about change. I have no doubt that religious leaders can contribute to sowing the seeds of transformation. For this reason, I hope that the work of hope will spread this message and serve to strengthen our commitment to the principles that guide us. I will continue to do my best to support the initiatives of religious leaders to promote interfaith harmony and peace among communities. Together, we are stronger and can work hand in hand to achieve our common objective, the triumph of the spirit of non-violence in a world free of atrocity crimes. It is this very same objective that one man, observing the increasing amount of violence taking place in many countries of the world, including his own, and drawing from his long-standing and rich spiritual journey, is aiming to achieve. He gathered his courage at the age of 66 and decided to embark on this unprecedented journey, a work of hope from the most southern to the northern tip of India, spreading a message of tolerance, peace, and harmony. This message delivered to villagers, students, workers, politicians, all along the road, as we have seen a couple of minutes ago with this beautiful film summarizing the 330 days achieved so far. People from all walks of life joined him and supported him and the very noble cause he is serving. Manavekta, one humanity, is his motto. Muslim, Hindu, Christian, Jews, Buddhists, Paganists, people of all colors, origin, and social backgrounds, we are simply human beings. Shri M., I salute your humility. I salute your courage, your determination, and your faith in the innate loving and peaceful nature of human being. This work you have initiated is bringing a significant contribution to the awakening of this divine nature within each of us, and is a driving force that is bound to yield very positive results that will perhaps be seen even years after the work ends. I'm confident that this work will inspire other works in other parts of the world, and I'm hopeful that you will lead, guide, and support further works. The work is a ray of hope that once again the human values will be induced by transforming the minds towards peace and harmony instead of suspicion, intolerance, and conflict. Today, we stand at the threshold of great change, provided we genuinely work together as one towards the same goal, peace. I thank you, Shri M, for your commitment and dedication to serve this cause, and for sharing your genuine belief that peace can be attained within each of us and shall radiate around us until peace and harmony prevail in the world. Please allow me, Shri M, to end with this prayer that I understand is very dear to your heart. Loka samasta sukino bhavantu. May the entire universe be in peace and happiness. Assalamu alaikum. Dandiavat Valerie Nandi. Thank you for your kind attention.